Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Inside Fnatic's Brush. I am your host Matt Scott, here to take you through week 3 of the LEC. On this third week where Fnatic could secure their playoff spot, they had to face the French-speaking connection with Carmine Corp and their academy team Carmine Corp Blue and Shifters. Let's see how the boys did this week. Starting off with Shifters, who've not really been up to the level that they are showcasing, throwing many games behind and even losing a crucial game against Los Ratones. Jumping into the draft, Fnatic brings out the Varus and Ampiros again gets put on the weak side duty, placing Cassante into his hands. On the side of Shifters, they are placing their bets on a good early game with Jhin and Azir in the mid lane, making sure that they can scale properly and completely shut down Fnatic's composition. And it gets awkward in the early game as between Lospa and Upset there's a bit of miscommunication on who tanks Jhin's ultimate, and Lospa leaves his ADC completely open, handing over a kill to Paddock. As the game goes forward, both teams are just hitting each other, getting kills and objectives, boss side for the side of Shifters and top side for our boys in orange. However, Shifters are the one running away with the gold advantage as they've pushed their lanes the most and are chipping down the turrets, even getting the first one in the bot lane. 23 minutes in, Shifters have a scary almost 5k gold lead, 3 Drakes and 4 turrets in their pockets. It looks very hard for Fnatic to come back into this game. However, as Shifters do, they slowly hand back the advantage, getting caught here and there before crucial objectives and allowing Fnatic to get some crucial shutdowns for their main carries. A lengthy teamfight in the mid lane will actually allow Fnatic to even the gold between both teams, get their second Drake as they put their eyes onto the big purple worm. However, Fnatic make the mistake to rush the Baron Nashor and not reset after the Drake, putting Razork at a very low HP as Shifters run into Fnatic when they secure the Baron and chase him out, acing them and ending the game as the respawn timers are way too long. Fnatic lose this game in a very stupid way, 0-1 to start the week. This was a very scrappy game from both teams and Fnatic was managing to come back into the game. However, it only takes one bad decision for the team to lose. It's disappointing. It was important to get this win against this team to get closer to playoffs, but there's still 2 more games to be played for. And the next one would be against Carmine Corp, probably the favorite team so far as their new players seem to have plugged well into the roster and they're looking to stay at the top of the leaderboard. Looking at the draft, Fnatic goes for somewhat of a poke comp with the Varus, the Ryze, and surprisingly the Jace into Razork's hand. Ampiros unfortunately gets put again into the role of weak side with a Cassante into his hands. A very aggressive and beefy frontline for Carmine Corp with the Mundo and Alistar with some strong DPS and follow-up. Orianna, Jhin and Gnar can do great stuff into teamfights. And very quickly, things go bad for Fnatic as Razor gets caught looking at the Drake, and when they try to make a play on Kyahu, Carmine Corp are there and turn the play completely on its head, making Fnatic already 2k gold behind at 11 minutes. There won't be much more to say about this game apart from the fact that Carmine completely roll over Fnatic. They get the objectives, they win all the team fights, catch Fnatic out of position, Fnatic doesn't have any damage to fight, and it's an absolute stomp with only 1 kill on the side of Fnatic. This was a disaster of a performance from Fnatic, who almost gets perfect game by Carmine Corp. The boys looked completely all over the place, no one was aligned with anyone, and Razork had a stinker of a performance. 0-9 into the week, it was very important for the boys to lock in as they were facing Carmine Corp, Blue this time. KCB are the team to get your points in, and it was very important for Fnatic to not fall into the traps of the rookies and make sure they didn't end the week in 0-3. Fnatic go back to their bases with a good old Yunara Alistar bot lane for Upset and Lospa, Rumble in the top lane, and we bring back Razork's patented Poppy to make sure that he's able to make stuff happen on the map. A surprising draft on the side of KCB, who definitely lacked quite a bit of damage. A great composition to receive the impact of the aggression from Fnatic, but not much to dish back out. Very early into the game, the Fnatic bot lane mismanages their aggression, which makes it that Razork gets invaded into his blue side, making it very hard for him to secure any objectives. The Drake and the Voids go into the hand of KCB. Team fights are also very scrappy. Both teams are getting kills and it doesn't feel like there's one team gaining an advantage. Very disappointing from Fnatic, who's completely getting outsmarted by KCB here. Also very important to note that Prime is having an exceptional game on his Nautilus and hits all of his hooks. A couple of teamfights going in the way of Fnatic's will allow them to take control of the game. Razork is completely unleashed on his Poppy, and Lostba again plays an amazing Alistar and disengages just enough to bait KCB into their team. Once Fnatic is ahead, they finally gave us a much cleaner gameplay, securing the Baron and the Drake objectives, pushing the lanes, hitting the turrets, and finally destroying the Nexus. A victory on the board, finally, to save this third week. Again, not the most impressive or cleanest game overall by Fnatic, but a very important win to make sure that we secure that place in the playoffs. Overall, it's still a very disappointing week by Fnatic. The progress made between week 1 and week 2 made it feel that week 3 was going to show us a new form of Fnatic with some improved early game and even more consolidation in the mid to late game. Instead, we saw disastrous early gameplay that almost folded the game in 30 minutes. The little comeback against Shifters still didn't result into a win, and KC showed us when a strong team plays against our playstyle, what really happens: utter domination. Now going into week 4, there's only 2 games left and only 1 win needed to secure the playoffs. Team Heretics and G2, who haven't necessarily looked the best individually, only Team Heretics looking pretty good with their recent win against Mad Lions Koi. However, as we know, G2 like to be prime 2019 form when they play against Fnatic, so we need to be very careful and not fall into the G2 trap. One thing is for sure is that those heavy conversations are happening right now with the team. If any of you have watched the recent videos from Fnatic, they've showed a very candid moment with the players, talking about their problems and what the issues were within their gameplay and what they can do to fix them. This is the one thing that really gives me hope into seeing this team improving over and over, even with this slight setback in week 3. It'll be very important for them to show a better face into this last week, as this will be the final one before going into best of 3 playoffs. But in any case, let me know what you think about this third week. Are you also frustrated, or are you just chilling, waiting them to scale into the season? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure to drop a like and a follow so you get notified about all my future videos. I appreciate the support that you've been showcasing lately with the comments and also the follows on both the YouTube and the Twitter account. I'll see you for the final week of the regular season. Until then, always Fnatic. Bye bye.